Chefs, what is the beef? Cam here, trialing out the new tripod fucking slash ring light. So I'm all fucking lit up and whatnot. Today's video, this is an informative one. We're going to go deep on this one. We're going to be talking about whether your phone is ruining your motivation and your ability to do productive things. This is something that I've really been thinking about and been going deep on personally for the past month or two. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I've noticed in myself that over the last couple of years, I've become more and more distracted by my phone and more distracted by technology. And obviously it doesn't help because Chef It is my full-time job as a coach. And I spend, my work days are spent on a laptop and a phone trying to fucking, coach, film content, all of that stuff. So I found myself being distracted quite a lot, and sometimes the motivation to do the thing that I need to do is just fucking not there. And I know that so many chefs struggle with that motivation. I know so many chefs struggle with that, going through a period where there's just no drive or focus to go and do something. And that's something that I felt myself. And there's an interesting concept that I'm going to throw at you here, and there's going to be some deep stuff that we talk about, but it's also going to be extremely informative for you. So let me start off by saying that, people's biggest complaint about themselves is not being able to maintain motivation to go and do something. So specifically with my message and what we do at Chef It, the idea is to make you the healthiest version of yourself physically and mentally so you can live a happier life, a more structured life, and have more work-life balance. That's a hard process. That's a difficult thing to attain. And understanding that it's a difficult thing to attain, it takes a long time. It takes a persistent, consistent effort to make that thing happen. But it's worth it in the long while. But what I've noticed recently, even in my own distraction, Patey, thanks pal, new light. So even with me being distracted, I've noticed so many chefs will start something. So let's say you start your nutrition plan, or let's say you start an exercise program, or let's say you start a course, and whatever the fuck, fill in the blank, it doesn't matter. Start something, do it for a week or two, and then stop. Why? I lost motivation. I'm lazy. I'm not focused. And those are all things that you think you're feeling, but I disagree. And I think the phone has a lot to do with it. So let me break it down like this. Phones are built in a way, right? Phones these days, it looks like a fucking computer in your hand. It is a computer in your hand, and you've got your phone and you've got social media and you've got all this shit. Phones, technology, and social media have actually been designed in a way to get you addicted to them. They've been designed to get you addicted. Yeah? So you ever notice when you're sitting on the couch and you're watching TV, you're watching a film, geez, I really look forward to watching this, and then you slowly just get that itch and you pick up your phone and you open the screen, and it's like, what the fuck am I even doing? I'm watching a film. Why am I looking through Instagram? I'm not even looking at anything. Like, I've got nothing out of that experience. And I think it's really, and I find myself doing it a lot, and it's really frustrating. And when I sit down to do something productive then, and it's like, I'm getting distracted again. And it becomes easier and easier and easier to get fucking distracted. Mr. Bishop, what's the crack, chief? Appreciate that. And it becomes easier and easier to get distracted. And then it fucking really hit me. And I started doing research on it, and I found out what it is. So we have a dopamine receptor in our brain. Okay, what dopamine is, people think that dopamine is like a feel-good hormone. Serotonin is a feel-good hormone. So, like, give you the perfect example, you can take drugs like fucking ecstasy or MDMA that accelerates the release of serotonin in your brain. So you get this overwhelming rush of love and good feelings. Dopamine is not that. So what happens is we open up our phone or we get this feeling to open up our phone because our brain is craving that instant gratification of open Instagram, see a like, open Facebook, see a comment, fucking see WhatsApp, someone sent me a message. Like that, and the second that you do it, the good feeling that you thought you were going to get, it doesn't happen. So that's why we feel so distracted, because we're looking through our phones and we're not actually getting anything out of scrolling through our phones. You might get something funny every once in a while, but you're not getting anything out of it. And over the course of years and years and years, this is how dopamine works. It's a bit like becoming an alcoholic. The more you drink, the more you need to get drunk. I'll say that again. The more you drink, the more you need to get drunk. Dopamine works the exact same way. The more you get distracted, the more you do that over and over and over again, the less motivation you're going to have to do things that are actually productive, and the more distracted you're going to become, because your dopamine tolerance goes up and up and up and up until you're literally like, I'm addicted to my phone. I don't know what the fuck to do. Why is it having such an impact on me? You know, when you don't know, it's dopamine, that's the thing. Because what your brain is actually saying is, why would I sit down and, you know, do this exercise, or why would I read this book, or why would I do this course, or why would I clean the house when I can sit on the couch and watch TV with a fucking can of Coke and fucking flick through my phone? Because the couch is the instant gratification. The productive thing is the delayed gratification. And delayed gratification is the way that you get results in your life. Instant gratification is the way to get distracted. Your phone has led us all Our phones have led us all to become instantly gratified and distracted. And the problem with that dopamine thing over and over and over and over again is that on a day-to-day basis, we know the things that we need to do and we have the things that we want to do. And that dopamine addiction that we get to our phones makes us only do the things that we want to do, and it makes us distract ourselves and procrastinate on the things that we need to do. I hope that makes sense to everyone. It takes your mind away from the thing you need to do and it distracts you from it, and then it just takes you straight over to the thing you want to do. Because this is the instant dose of dopamine that you're looking for. That's the delayed one. You don't get that from doing that, so why the fuck would you do it? It's the same thing that happens to me. But the problem here, and let's say we take it back to a lifestyle change. Let's say you're the type of chef who's struggled for years in the industry, beat down by the hours, the stress, the pressure, all of that shit, struggling physically, struggling mentally, whatever your goal is, whether it be confidence, whether it be mental health, whether it be energy, whatever. You know, you got to understand that that's a long process. That's a long game you have to play. But the more addicted that you become to technology and your phone, the lacking in focus that you're going to have towards changing your lifestyle. So this is why you'll try diets and then you'll give up on them after a week, because the motivation that you had initially at the start now wanes, and now your brain is looking for that dopamine hit again. You got the dopamine hit for a day or two, but again, after a while, it just doesn't happen anymore. So you'll look for it elsewhere and you'll start getting distracted again and you'll fall off track. This is a pattern that will happen throughout your life, okay? And it's something that you need to identify, and I had to fucking identify it. You know, I really did. So the stuff I started doing to address it, there's an app called Off Time. You can get different apps for this. There was an app called Off Time, which basically switches off social media and it stops you accessing all that shit. So if I have to sit down and work for an hour, I'll stick that thing on for an hour. Just stop me, like, just picking up the phone for no fucking reason and then losing concentration on what I'm doing. You can do that if you really struggle, and be honest with yourself. If you really, really, really struggle with it, like if you find that you're spending hours on your phone a day and you've got no motivation to do other things, you're losing your drive, your focus, and potentially your passion, then you need to do something called a detox. So a detox will basically be like, cut anything that gives you dopamine for 2 to 3 days. Just cut it, stop it. No phone for fucking 2 days. Just if someone's texting you, not even, someone's calling you. Because again, now who the fuck, people don't even call each other anymore. Everyone's on fucking, you know, WhatsApp or whatever. Reduce the phone use, no social media, no TV. Try and reduce no masturbation, no sex, like just cut it all. And what will happen is you're going to be in pain for a day. Okay, you're going to be in fucking rag order because your brain is going to be restless and chaotic, and it's going to want that distraction, but you're not giving it that distraction. What happens after a certain amount of time is it resets. It resets, and when it resets, you can come back, and then all of a sudden the motivation to do things that you need to do is there, and the less likely you are to be distracted by shit that you just want to do. You know, again, speaking from experience, like sitting down to do shit, like my life now, I've used to be someone who was like either coaching people or working in a restaurant or whatever. Now it's purely on a phone and a laptop. You know, so with that, it's so easy for me to get distracted. I've had to notice it on myself and really be aware of it and dial it back. But you'll notice that once you make that effort to dial the distractions back and you reset your fucking brain, as you come back in, then it's like, yeah, shit, I got motivation to do stuff again. I've got the drive to go and do things I need to do again. That's powerful. Understand, and people say, oh, I'm just lazy and I'm just not motivated. That's bullshit. I don't think people are lazy inherently. I don't believe in that. I believe that a lot of human beings, yeah, sure, there's a way that you live your life, but you develop habits based on shit like technology, where they've built the phone in a way for it to be so instantly gratifying for you that you don't want to bother doing anything else that's productive, because that's hard and this is easy. But you're not lazy for doing that. That's not your fault. Things have been designed to get you addicted to it. But if you become aware of how that makes you feel and that it's a negative in your life, then it needs to be addressed. And taking it right back to the message and right back to the whole point of the video is that if you can address this dopamine problem, this instant gratification that it causes, okay, if you can address that, then when you come back, your focus to go and do something like doing a course, reading a book, or making a change in your lifestyle or your body, okay, that becomes a much easier process. And then being able to do it week in, week out, because you get a feel-good feeling from doing the things that you need to do. Whereas before, when you're totally distracted and your brain's all fucked up from the phone, you wouldn't get the same feeling. So that is it's a deep enough topic, but it's an interesting one. And I think it's something that people need to be aware of nowadays. Really, like, we need to be aware of it. I guarantee you in the next 10, 20, 30 years, there'll be fucking studies done on what social media and phones does to our brains, and how it changes, you know, the neurochemistry and our fucking desire to get instantly gratified versus delayed gratification. 50 years ago, like, boredom doesn't even fucking exist anymore. Do you get me? Like, boredom doesn't exist anymore. Whereas like far back, like 15, 20 plus years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, people got bored because there wasn't shit to do. People had patience for things. Now we don't have that patience anymore. So if you think that that's a problem that you're struggling with, you know where to go with it. You know, honestly, you know where to go with it. You know to become aware of it. But look into the dopamine thing. It's really, really interesting. And yeah, if anyone's interested in joining ChefFit and making that change and overcoming instant gratification, it's something we coach you on a regular basis, to get you focused, to keep you motivated, to drive you forward week in, week out. If that is you, please send us a message on the page, and we'll be happy to get you started. And if you're one of those people that's unsure about the commitment that you want to make and I'm not 100% sure, you can do the free 5-day course as well. There's no strings attached on that, no commitment. And even if you do want to take it a step further, joining the group is basically one of those things where there's a consultation beforehand with Ella. We will take you through everything to do with the program. We'll set your goals. We'll get you clear on your problems and your issues. And at that stage, if you do want to join, you can join and we'll talk you through the process. If you don't, at least you walk away with that clarity. Okay? Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Much love to all of you. Catch us all soon.